Dun 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 dun. I don't have theme music for this program, so I got to make up my own shit as we go here, because I don't know reasons. So today, episode 12 of Getting Projects Done, we're going to take a break from pretty much everything we've been doing, because again, this program is really just about me getting, obviously projects done, and, just kind of working on stuff that I have around. Now, I have a whack ton of projects. I'm not lacking in the project department. I'm, got a lot of things on the plate. Even projects that have been sitting around for ages. I painted years ago. I was like, oh, you know what? I probably should finish this. And so today, because we're all probably staying in and, we're trying to get some projects done and, in that spirit and trying to keep our spirits raised in this time that we're in right now. I was looking for the word to describe this time, because, it doesn't necessarily have to be a bad time. It's not a good time either. I wouldn't describe it as a good time, but it doesn't have to be a bad time, right? Making lemonade, right? We're always making lemonade. So, to appease the gods, Nurgle himself, we are going to work on a project that I was doing quite some time ago. And, where am I here? So I have this guy. He's still on a square base. I'm pretty sure this guy sold with a circular base now. He's a chaos he's a chaos champion of Nurgle, obviously. He was painted a long time ago. I used various elements of this model to do tutorials, so those are still floating about for anybody, wanting to know how elements of this were painted. I'm sure some of you are going to ask how such and such was painted. And honestly, I don't even know if I remember how some of this was painted. I know I was going for like this really warm coppery tone. But I'm not happy. Well, the axe handle has to be finished, but you can see like I have some of that Nurgle's rot, that glistening sliminess coming from the belly. That's some Nurgle's rot there. And yeah, I'm going to end up painting over that, but that's okay. And, there's various elements that are not finished on this guy, like his butt cloth. I'm thinking that we might add a few more highlights to his flesh. I was mostly happy with where I went with this guy. I don't know. I was just going for, something outside the norm. I normally don't see. That's often the way I approach a lot of my models and paint jobs is, I'll have a quick look around the interwebs and, see how somebody has done something, and I'll strive to do something different. Not so much better, but different. And that's the way I approach my paint jobs. I like to do things different. I don't want to do things that's already been done. That just has no interest for me. And hopefully, you guys are a similar mindset. At least some of you guys who are taking your miniature painting somewhat seriously, right? I'm not talking that we're all, I'm an artist and, I'm using appropriate colors. You know what I mean? Like, I realize, but some of you guys want to do your paint jobs to a very competent standard, right? So that's why I'm here. To show you guys how to do that shit. And yeah. So, like I said, that model, that's what we're going to work on today. Are we going to get them done? Maybe. I don't know. I usually do this show for about 2 hours, so strap in or strap on, one of the two. And, we're going to kick back and do a little bit of painting. And hopefully, this appeases Nurgle himself. And, either makes us all spawn or or he's happy. You know what? I'm going to move this just a bit, I think. I'm kind of crowded here. Yeah, I'm okay. Yeah, we're fine here. Yeah, we're fine. Let's move cameras over here. And let's get to the painting. Can't get enough of that sugar crisp. Alright, so we have various elements on this guy. Now, I am not happy with how this axe has gone. His helmet, I'm fine with. There's like blue-green elements going on in his helmet. I don't know. And there's like, blue-green corrosion going on the axe blade. I think I just kind of quickly painted the blade. I don't even remember what I did. I don't even know how long ago I painted this guy. It was a while ago. But, yeah, even the corrosion. I think the corrosion is it just nilic oxide? You know what? I couldn't even tell you. I have no idea what I did on this guy. I think I'd have to go back to the old tutorials and, see what I did. But, yeah. He had been sitting on the shelf. And, yeah. So, first thing first, I'm going to paint that axe handle. Now, I want to keep with the mostly warm tones. Right? I want to keep with the mostly warm tones. And I'm thinking the handle. I'm thinking, let's stay with like a brown red. What do you guys think? Brown red? Almost like it's like cherry wood. It's a red oak. he was a very discerning chaos champion. He was like, you know what? I think I'm gonna go with a nice cherry wood handle for my axe. When I'm splitting people in half, I'm really concerned about the handle, and he might be. You never know. I mean, we're laughing here, but he could be that discerning of a champion. So for that, I'm going to get started with some Karak stone. Now, I have a plan here. I do have a plan. Oh, shit. I'm knocking all sorts of stuff here. I do have a plan as to what I'm going to do. Not that I've really thought this out, but because we're going to use a combination of things, and I'm going to do Fra13. Hey, any tips for good washes for buildings? Yeah, pick yourself up some cheap craft store brand paints, like acrylic paints. Make sure they're water-based acrylic paints. And just use those. Thin them down for a wash. You can simply just use water with those cheaper paints and get yourself some Liquitex Flow Aid and just add a drop or two to your mixture. That's all you need. And yeah, and just go ham. Let me see here. Where am I at? This is where I'm going to be painting. Yeah, I'm okay here. So I'm using Karak stone, and I'm going to give this handle a base coat of that. We'll probably have to apply more than one layer, but I'm sure we'll be fine. Been talking recently about how, my old eyeballs are, getting old. And I completely forgot that I have a pair of magnifiers. You know what? Let's give them a try. I have not put them on in a very long time. Froth13, awesome, thanks. Yeah, no problem, dude. Grim, brown red sounds good to me. Yeah, brown red, right? A brownie red? A brownie red? A reddy brown? Here, let's give this a shot. I'm going to take these off for a sec here. I'm pretty sure I still need my glasses, but let's try this out. I'll probably look like a huge dork, but you know what? I don't care. Now, my little lights, I don't think work anymore because the batteries are out, right? Where the hell's the switch? The batteries come on? Yeah, I don't think the batteries are in there anymore. Oh, you know what? I gotta wipe the lenses off. I don't know. I was screwing around the other day, and I think I messed up the lenses here. Just gotta wipe them down a bit. Just using a microfiber cloth. What in the hell is this? Oh, this flips up. Dusty. What in the hell? Somebody's messing with me. I can't see now. I got my glasses off, so I can't see crap. If it's somebody I know who knows I'm streaming right now, you know, why are you trying to contact me? You know damn well I'm streaming. You know damn well Chris has got things on his plate, and he's doing stuff. All right, let's see here. I still have to hold that pretty darn close. Let's try glasses. Let's try glasses on. There we go. Oh, that's much better, actually. That's pretty good. And let's see here. Where's the camera? Yeah. You know what? That's pretty darn good right there. I look like a huge dork with these on, but you know what? Screw you. I don't care. I don't care. Yeah, let's give this a try. Let's give this a try. I've not used these things. When I was doing a bit more precise work, I can't remember. I think my father gave me these. Just, you know, for crap I was doing. Oh yeah, that's not bad. Takes a little bit getting used to. I don't know. Something about the depth. Something about the depth is kind of thing. Am I in frame? Yeah, I'm in frame. Yeah. I think what it is I've also kind of gotten into the bad habit of looking over my glasses. So, yeah, there's that. But this ain't bad. I can mostly see what I'm doing. I kind of wish I had a bit more light. I honestly need a light over my right shoulder. But you can see, like from the shot here, you can see it's like a wall right here, right? So having a light right here would be kind of cumbersome. My window's right here, but like it's an overcast kind of day. It's windy as shit right now, but yeah. You know, this ain't bad. I'm not gonna lie. It's not bad at all. The tendency is to want to like peek over my lenses. Let me make sure I'm in frame here. I want to peek over the lenses, but yeah. You don't feel quite as connected, if that makes any sense. You don't feel quite as connected to the piece you're working on, though. I feel a certain amount of disconnection from what I'm doing. And also, I'm not used to working at this kind of distance from my subject matter. But I'm not really messing anything up, right? So I don't know how do my eyes look in these things? Do my eyes look huge? Anyway. You know, this is really not bad though. I don't know if I'm always going to use this, but definitely right now, this ain't bad. I'm okay with this. I imagine soon enough I'll do more than okay with it because, you know, getting old. Getting old, kids. Getting old. Alright. Make sure I'm still in frame here. The nice thing is that I can see all sorts of things here. And I'm not having to kind of strain my eyes to see. So it's kind of nice. Let's get right in there. Let's get that little bit right there. Yeah, see, that's the test whether or not I can really see what I'm doing, right? Okay. I'm okay with that. So, washi off my brush. Yeah. Sir Peanut Butter, Corona Warriors, nice and irrelevant. So, knock on wood, I've not succumbed to Nurgle's rot yet. And I had mentioned previously that my son was under the weather, and we were watching his ass because even he's at risk as well. He has suffered from lung issues in the past, and things like that. So we're taking this shit very seriously, this whole corona thing. And thankfully, no, he turned it right around, and he took his meds, and he got lots of rest, drank plenty of fluids, all that, right? So we played it smart. And the thing is that the week beforehand, he had opened a can of soda, put it in the fridge, and then I grabbed it, and I figured it was his, but I was like, oh, screw it, and I downed it because I needed something to drink, and because waste not, want not, right? And yeah, and then it was like, oh, he's sick, and I'm like, damn it, just last week I was drinking the same can he was drinking from, and how easily germs can spread within a household. It's just a lot of people don't often consider that kind of crap, right? All right, we're gonna grab a little bit of Screaming Skull. This is one of my favorite colors. It's nice and light. I like using this as a highlight color. I'll add this to black, blue, red, you name it. I'll add this in. This is a fantastic color. It's a nice off-white. Is it the same as Wraithbone? No, Wraithbone's lighter. And Wraithbone almost seems... Wraithbone is on the left. Or Wraithbone. Yeah, it's Wraithbone, right? That's what it's called? The new... Yeah, it's Wraithbone. Wraithbone. But it's a base, though, so this is a really rich pigment as opposed to this layer, which... These are different pigments. Bases and layers, they are different. If you've never really played with Citadel colors before, they are different. These base colors tend to be a lot more pigmented. But you can see there is a slight difference, and this is lighter. So, but anywho, well, we'll keep the Wraithbone around. We'll keep it around just in case we need it, because you never know. So, Screaming Skull, I'm going to use it all on its lonesome. I'm going to create a little initial highlights, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in with probably white and paint wood grain. That's the plan right now. So some of you might be going, okay, big freaking whoop, dude. Well, remember, my initial plan was we're going to go with like a cherry wood, or was it red? The freaking redwoods. Not redwood, but god damn it, you know what I mean. Anyway, we're going to highlight this son of a gun. Yeah, we'll do it in a fairly broad highlight. We're not going to go anything too fancy with this guy. We're just going to bring this guy up to, kind of a finished standard, as it were. So we're going for kind of a higher tabletop. Yeah, that's about what I would consider this guy. This guy's a high tabletop. There's, elements where I've spent a considerable amount of time. There's elements where I've not spent a considerable amount of time. So, and that axe blade, you can see how rough that axe blade is. Yeah, I think I phoned that in. Okay, so, somehow this changed. Oh, there we go. All right. Mind frame. We're all good. So, yeah. You know what? Let's just follow. It's got, like, the wood has facets in it. Like, it's kind of like rough cut. Like when you whittle wood and you take the surface off. If any of you have whittled wood. But there's little facets. And, yeah. So, I'm going to basically follow those little facets. So, if there's an abrupt edge, you're going to see it. Kind of like right there. See how, like, it just stops? Because there's a facet there. Interesting. I mean, if I really cared, I probably would mix an in-between color, do those facets, and then the very high point be, be lighter. But we're just ourselves with just the uppermost facets. Yeah, this is kind of fun. There we go. Yeah. I kind of dig that. It's kind of fun. Let's keep going. Just keep swimming, just keep swimming. When I come back from looking down the palette and come back, I gotta like remember what lenses I'm looking through here. Let's go right here. Follow this facet. Paint that thorn. Yeah, let's follow this facet too. Let's get that thorn as well. Not quite as clean there. Let's just do this whole edge like that. Yeah, we'll just do that whole thing right like that. And then if I really cared, we can always just come back in really fast. Grab a little bit of the, what is it, Carrick stone. And just pull that edge right off. Yeah, like so. Straighten it up. Get a nice smooth line. A bit more of this. Boom. Let's push that highlight right next to the little globule of slime. Okay. Let's do this facet here. Do the spiky. Regardless, I'm just doing the ends of the spikes anyway, just because it looks kind of cool. Why not? Right like that, right? You know what? Let's mix it in between color. Let's take a little bit of the Carrick stone, a little bit of the, a little bit more. Let's mix it in between. It's annoying me, but you know, whatever. Because I want to do this facet that runs along right here and make sure I'm in frame. Yeah. Runs right along here. There we go. I hit the little globule of slime, but that's okay. It's actually got a little bit of varnish on it, so I can actually probably pull that off just a little bit here. It's a damp brush. No, it's on there. It's alright. Not terribly concerned with that because I can always recolor over that. Might make it a little bit brighter, a little bit more contrasty. Yeah, that's alright. So next is, I forgot to grab my white. Let's use regular old white scar. Give this a good old shake. This thing on my head, it always feels like Ghostbusters. I know, it's not, but you know when he's got the little thing over his eye, shining the light right at him? Anyway. As I shake my head, I can hear this thing on my banging against my glasses. Shoot, I didn't bring a drink down. Damn it. I'm gonna have to convince somebody that I need to bring me a drink. I think the wife left. Oh no. Anyway, white scar here. We're going in with some white scar. We're going to create some lines. We're going to create the wood grain. We're going to paint a wood grain on this surface. Or at least the hint of a wood grain. Which means that we're going to use a fine brush. Now, lately I've been just using this brush. And this brush, where's the thing? It's a standard brush. It's the Heavy Metal standard brush. Anybody who bought the color guide, the painting guide, remember a couple years back when Citadel did the re-release of their paints, they did like, it was a big book. It was a ring spine. Do I still have it? Yeah, I do. Anyway, they came with two brushes, a little bit of medium. Before Lamy and medium had come out, it was it was just Heavy Metal medium. And yeah, and for ages now, I've been using just this brush, and it comes to a really nice fine point here. Let me see here if I can show you guys. Yeah, I use this for eyeballs. If you guys watched like any of the videos lately, where I'm doing eyeballs and such, yeah, it's this brush that I'm using, and it's got like this lacquered brown handle. It has this kind of fake wood grain kind of look in it and everything. Anyway, that's what I use. Anybody's curious. Anybody who gives a shit. Not that it really matters, but yeah. I mean, you can just as easily use whatever fine point brush you use. 0, 00, whatever, right? Alright, we're going to do some wood grain. So, I'm just going to create a little line. That's all we're going to do is we're just going to create little lines. There we go. Now, why I'm doing the grain in white? Well, some of you who have been watching me for a while will know what I'm planning. You can probably tell what I'm planning. The end of the handle, I kind of want to do like, circular. Don't think it always takes me a second to readjust which lens I'm looking through here. Yeah, I want to do a circular kind of thing. Again, I'm just looking to create the hint of stuff. Yeah. That is all, right? We're just going for a general impression. We're not too concerned with, detail. As I mentioned before, we're going for a higher tabletop standard. We're not going to kill ourselves on this. So, frame here. If I'm not talking, it's because I'm concentrating. And we'll do little ends of the thorns as well. So all we were looking to do was just pick up some of that wood grain, right? Now then, let's... Fire Drake 18, there he is. Chris, no Corona for you. Guess I have to buy those contrast paints now. Curtoni? Curteroni. What up, Kay? Looking cool, man. I'm feeling really cool with my goggles on. Like I mentioned in the previous streams, I'm getting old, and so, got to do what you got to do. Now, for this wood effect, I was thinking initially using reds, like just straight up reds. Maybe thin it down with a bit of browns. Maybe that's what we will do. Because I was thinking maybe I should hit it with Dark Oath. The contrast paint, Dark Oath, which is like a dark reddy brown. You know what? Let's do a side-by-side. Well, you guys probably won't be able to see it, but... No, that's Gilliman Flesh. That's Templar. Fire Slick. Where the frick is... Leviathan. Where the... Where is my flesh tones? I don't know. Come on. Sigor. Gorgrunta. Argyros. Son of a bitch. Where? Skeleton. Oh, you know what? We might need skeleton later. I'm going to take my skeleton now. Did I already grab it? Oh, I already had Dark Oath Flesh. I'm an idiot. It's kind of like those moments when you're looking for something and it's in your hand. Yeah, so I was thinking of using Dark Oath Flesh because this color is really, really nice for flesh tones because it's got a very ruddy kind of brown, red tone to it, right? Not quite like a terracotta, but so yeah, it's kind of like let's see if we can have a look. Yeah, see how you can see it kind of has like a slight reddy to it. More orange though, looks a little close to orange. Whereas I'm thinking like using Blood Angel's red and a little bit of Snakebite leather. Let's mix these up. You know what? I'm feeling goofy. Let's mix these two up. Of course, I said I was going to do a side by side, right? So okay, hold on. You guys can't see my palette, but I'm going to see what these look like on the palette stretched out because I'm going to thin these down a bit too. So yeah, Gorgrunta is actually pretty good, but I want a bit more brown here. It's not bad. Not Gorgrunta, frickin' Dark Oath. But I'm gonna take Snakebite and throw. It's probably closer to if you're gonna play along. It's probably a little closer to like a 1-to-1 I'm gonna do. So I'm gonna grab a little bit of Snakebite. Let's throw it right there. We're gonna grab a little bit of Blood Angel's red. Try and get it on let's see. With contrast, it is kind of challenging to try and get equal measure. That's a little bit too much red. Yeah, that's a little too much red. So maybe it's more closer to a 2 brown to 1 red. Because the red is pretty strong. Let's mix a bit more Snakebite. And let's see here. Yeah, you know what? That's a little closer. That's a lot more saturated than what I really want, but that is pretty darn close to what I'm looking at. It is kind of like Dark Oath. That's art code. What am I doing? I'm going to grab a little bit of contrast medium. I'm going to have to get another bottle of this pretty soon. I'm already halfway down. I use contrast a lot. I like contrast paints. I don't do a lot of the primary stuff for paint job in contrast, but like little details, straps, things of that nature, or just effects, I'll use it just because it's easier. Yeah, you know what? This actually is a pretty darn good tone. I like it. That Snakebite leather has this really kind of really brighter. It's good grammar. It's got a very bright yellowy tone to it. Nighters 95. Hey Chris, how's it going? It's not too bad. It's going not too bad. I can speak English. So, axe handle. We threw that little bit of wood grain. We've got like 3 colors up from the wood, and as I said, we wanted a reddy brown. So I've taken Blood Angel's red and Snakebite leather, mixed them together, and a boom. And so what I'm looking for here is get just a bit of those tints or the hue changes to occur. Yeah. You know what? I'm pretty happy with how that looks. Because we can always build up to the effect, right? It's better to build up to the effect rather than try and get it in one great big glom. And when you're dealing with contrast paints, the tendency is to kind of just hit it with one shot, because that's often how they encourage you to do it. But as you become more proficient in your painting, and I've advised people to do, like, not rely on these kinds of things all the time, like shade washes, stuff like that. Get used to building up your own colors. And yeah, not crazy about how that's gathering around that thorn, but whatever. Gotta get in the inside here. Yeah, boy. Yeah. See, I'm liking how that's looking. So basically, it was a ready. Oh, frick! I lost where my lens was. There we go. Going for a ruddy brown. And we laid out that wood grain effect beforehand because we knew we were going to lay in this transparency on top. Give that a couple seconds to dry. Yeah, and then we'll lay another layer down. Oh, geez. Underneath, on the underside, we'll lay another layer of that color down. Yeah, so that's snakebite leather, and it's basically like I think a 2 to 1, 2 brown to 1 red, snakebite leather and Blood Angels red contrast paints. Very interesting color. How it looks on the screen is pretty much how I'm looking at it on the model, which is not bad. And it's warm, it's brighter, but it's still in the brown category, and I'm liking that. It makes me want to pick the goop up, like the guts that are spilling over his belly and everything like that. It makes me want to make those a little bit brighter. But I also want to do the copper as well. I think I want to deepen up the copper and refine those edge highlights. Maybe go a little bit brighter on the edge highlights. Or maybe just push the contrast. Because I'm pretty sure it's just Nilic oxide. I think it was just a simple wash of Nilic oxide over the entirety. And then I dry brushed it with the copper. Whatever the hell the copper is. I can't remember what the copper name is. That's not quite dry yet. I'm going to grab my hair dryer real fast. It's going to get noisy for a second, folks. And we're going to go and we're going to come back in. Yeah, and so we're going to lay a little bit more color where the shadows would be. We're going to really saturate the shadow points. Which freaking lens am I looking through? Here we go. Something along those lines right there. And like we did with the highlight, I'm going to follow the little facets of the wood, so they're going to dictate how far up I bring this color. Just like so. So we're not hitting the entirety of the wood. Hit that finger there. It's okay. Yeah. It's not horrible. Get the underside here. That's fun. And that's the important thing, is we're having fun. Actually, let's do this little facet right there. And that one right there. Yeah. See how the little facets right there? That is fun. I'm I'm okay with that for now. As I build more colors up and stuff on the model, you know, and it pretty much looks how I'm seeing it on the screen. Like I'm getting a good representation of like how that looks, and I'm okay with that. I am perfectly okay with that. Alrighty. Fire Drake 18. It looks good. I was actually going to work on some Geller pox infected. I have to finish my parents' taxes. Hopefully, I'll be back before the end. Later, Chris. Later, dude. Uber Telucci. All praise Nurgle and the mustache. All praise. All praise. I can't tell if my thumbnail of what my what I'm seeing right now, and I can't tell if my eyes get big in the goggles. But anyway. Nighter 95. Hey Chris, do you have good tips for the blue on the carapace of Nid's Behemoth? On the carapace of Nid's Behemoth. I think I think on the website, like, they pretty much tell you like how to go about it. It's pretty straightforward. I'm not even sure. I'm pretty far from my keyboard, so it's kind of hard for me to do it. But I think really it's just you can start with black, base coat with Cantor blue, dry or do an edging of Caldor Sky, then light little edging of Teclis blue. Or, if you want to create those little striations, just apply the highlights in little lines. Now, that requires you to have, a pretty good precise brush, a fine tip brush. But otherwise, yeah. The other big one is that if you're going to do those little striations in the carapace, I would make sure that you're thinning your color down just a little bit. Now, typically, when, thinning the color down, oftentimes just a bit of water and, just a bit of dampness in the brush is enough to just thin that color down just a little bit. Layer paints don't have a whole lot of body to them, and they're really, they're not as pigmented as the base colors. And so when you thin them down, you can see like the underpaint shining through. And yeah. Now, you can use that property to your advantage because it's really great when you get into glazing. But, if you're asking for help with High Fleet Behemoth, I'm going to say that you're relatively new. And so, nothing wrong with that. Everybody is brand new. No, it's no biggie. But, yeah, just be mindful of your thinning. Use the sharpest brush you can get your hands on. If Citadel paints are what is around your area, using Citadel brushes, like, you get a lot of people who crap on Citadel, but they're everywhere and they come to a good point. And for many, 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 many years, I've just used Citadel brushes. I have Winsor Newtons. I have, Artis Opus, like all sorts of premium priced brushes, and Citadel are just fine. There's nothing wrong with Citadel. And they're everywhere. You don't have any trouble getting a hold of them, That's a big one for me. You know what? I am going to do one more little layer, I think, of this mixed tone. I still have some of it on my palette, and I'm going to use it. And I'm just going to do another layering. Where am I in these lenses here? There we go. I want to build the color just a little deeper. Just like that. And there's a little nook and cranny right here that I missed. Nice thing about the contrast as well is that it creeps into little areas. It's a creepy color. It's creeper color. That's what they should have called it, was creeper color. For all the creeps out there. It's a terrible idea. Terrible, terrible idea. For all the creeps. For all the creepiness. There. I just threw a little bit more. Just to get that tone a little bit more where I want it. But yeah, there we go. Yeah, so hopefully Niters, that kind of helps. I know it's not terribly helpful, but Citadel, I mean, when doing like Citadel color schemes, just follow their guides. There's nothing wrong with following their guides, and for the most part, anybody who's doing painting schemes like that and who are more advanced painters, they're most likely just following those color guides as well, because it's just easier. I mean, if you want it to look a certain way, why not just follow those color guides? The only reason that you would need to deviate from their color guides is if you're using non-GW paints, where you gotta guesstimate the approximate shades and hues of the color, right? So that's the only really reason to deviate. Otherwise, just follow their color guide. Nighters, I'm not really new to painting, but I just can't get it to work for me, as I'm trying to find a better way to do it, other wish the way I do. It's just Corvus black with Sotek green to get the blue lines. Is that what color it is? See, I'm too far from my keyboard right now to type it in and have a look, because I don't remember what all the damn color schemes are. To get the blue lines. Is it Sotek green? Is that what they recommend? I mean, just all you got to do is just go to their website and they'll post the color swatches, what colors to use. Yeah. And it's just base coat and then just start doing those lines and then do finer lines within those lines, and you do it. It's pretty straightforward. I know that's not terribly helpful, but yeah. Niters 95 normal. It is Abaddon black, but I like Corvus better. And yes, it is Sotek. It is Sotek green. Okay, cool. Yeah, I see. I had no idea. I mean, like, I don't paint a lot of Tyranids, and like I said, like, it's it's follow the color guides. When you're going with pre-established color schemes from GW, there's no reason not to go with the established guides, what they provide. I mean, you're already going with their color scheme. Like, the only reason why you would diverge is if you didn't have that particular shade and you had a similar shade from another company, then yeah, you got to kind of do a bit of finagling. But if they say use Corvus black, use Corvus black. If they say use Sotek green, use Sotek green. You know what I mean? If they say dry brush this final highlight, dry brush that final highlight, and you're going to get similar results to what they tell you. The only things to bear in mind is making sure you got a nice sharp point on your brush, thinning your color down, just a little bit of water. It's all it takes, especially with the layer paints, and yeah, that's it. It ain't rocket science. This doesn't have to be terribly, terribly difficult. Where am I next on this guy? I kind of want to do the little cloth on his bum and on his groin. He's got these little Nurgle-like symbols on the chainmail. What color should those be? Those 3 little discs? The crazy part of my brain says to do those a dark red. I used to really love Nurgle schemes when they had like the really greens all over the place, but then you just throw those little reds in there. Just here and there. Anywho. Niters, maybe I should try dry brush the blue one and then see what happens, but thanks for the help, Chris. Yeah. Well, I mean, again, oftentimes whenever I'm like, especially with like when I'm doing like way of the brush and it's more because way the brush, you know, is more hobby help, whereas this is just more me just working on crap. But anyway, send a picture of what you're doing, because that way I can see what you're doing and help you out of that whatever it is you're doing, right? I often say it's in the description below, but it's not going to be in the description below. But it's Chris, Kris, at wayofthebrush.com. Send an email. Hey, I was talking to you, whatever. Here's a picture of what's happening with what I'm doing. Where am I going wrong? Something like that, right? And I can totally help you, and I can get you on the path that you want to be on, as far as making your models look similar to what you see in the White Dwarfs, box art, you know what I mean? All that. So I can help you, but I'm not sure exactly where you're having trouble. That's what it is. Anywho, all right. So we got these little cloths here. And the belt. Oh, frame rate drop. Well, somebody's playing Xbox upstairs. That's what's going on. So, what do we do those? Should the axe not be more green? It could. It could be more green. Right? But it's metal, right? And how does metal corrode? Typically, metal corrodes by orange, right? Orange and browns, rust. Unless, of course, I'm not making it look like metal, and maybe I'm looking at making it look like something else. I was even toying with the idea of not even doing it in metallics, because it's metallics on the blade right now, and I'm not happy with it. So, and I'm also thinking I might deepen up some of the areas of the copper, because like the knee joint, it's just really, really light. You know, I'm just super not into where it's at as far as some of the metal. The shoulder pad actually is all right. It's kind of where I probably would have it, in the van brace on his cuff, or whatever the hell you want to call it. That's pretty much kind of, but I think I would like to pick that symbolo, but then not really. I don't know. But right now we're going to work on the little tattered cloth that hangs under his belly fold or his back fold. Oof. But yeah, anybody who's curious about how like a lot of the other areas, like the skin and the armor, were painted, yeah, there's tutorials on that from way back in the day. I don't even know how old those tutorials are, but they're old. Because this model I've had, I think this model I've had since this one came out. And it's still on a square base, so it was before Age of Sigmar. It might have came out during End Times. Because it is a solid plastic kit, and it was like in the the blister pack, and it's kind of when they started doing that kind of crap. Anyway, I want to base coat that cloth. I'm not even sure what color I want to go with. Maybe just a reddy brown. So you know what? Let's base coat it in Wraithbone. Let's use some Wraithbone, just because it covers pretty much in one go. And we'll just cover it up, because you can see like there's previous colors kind of showing through on the cloth, and you can see the greens and stuff like that. So I want to pick that out, clean that up, reestablish it, and then we'll do something. Yeah, we'll do something. We're painting, right? We're gonna do something. Let's grab a little bit of Wraithbone, slap it onto my palette. Move my visor down a bit. Grab this brush. Just a little residual dampness of the brush, just to thin the color down just a little bit. Yeah, that's fine. Am I in frame? Yeah, I'm in frame. Can't get no of that sugar crisp. Now I really do need a light over my right shoulder. Now I've thinned this color down just a little bit, so I might have to apply it again, but that's fine. It's usually the way I work anyway. I would usually work in multiple layers, and it's never really a good practice to, just paint an area with just one shot. For a lot of newer people, like the way the painting guides are coming out, especially from GW, that, you kind of just do one shot. You lay the contrast paint down in one go on an area. And that actually kind of, it doesn't help with creating good habits, good painting habits. But I mean, when working with contrast paints, they're not like, normal paints. Not normal paints, but, regular opaque colors. Alright, let's do the front, and then we'll come back to the back side. Nighters. The only way people can get better is by trying stuff and see if it works. Yes, exactly. That's exactly it, buddy. Just play with your colors. Just play with them. Experiment. See what works for you. See what doesn't. Because, you can listen to a painter and they'll tell you what that works for them. And whenever you listen to me, I'm telling you what works for me. And, what works for me, what works for other painters might not work for you. It might not be the way you like to work. You might find a more efficient way of doing something. So, there is that. One of the biggest things to remember when painting miniatures and you're into these fine little areas is your breathing. Be mindful of your breathing. Your breathing will affect your control. If you're breathing too heavily or too much, your brush will be like all over the place, and you'll have tension in your hands and such. So just always be mindful of your breathing. Sometimes I find myself still holding my breath, and I gotta remind myself to, breathe. Just breathe. Very, very important. Because again, it does help with your control. All right. Almost done with that. Okay. That coat is done. Mostly. I'll have to come back over it. So we'll do the back side again. Nighters 95. It's just like a sniper holding his breath before he takes the shot. Yeah, well, that's something I learned. I mean, I grew up around guns when I was small and everything, and yeah, it's the same kind of thing, and it's not just sniper. It's shooting. Whenever you're shooting and you're going for accuracy, yeah. You want to know what the trick is? Do you want to know what it is? Some of you might want to know. Basically, it's breathe in, okay, inhale, and then let half of the exhale go. And then you shoot. Had an uncle who was an excellent marksman, and yeah, he could do that on the fly, rapid fire, and with bolt action, and take multiple shots really fast, within 2-3 seconds of each other. Just, Anyway, He's moved on. He's moved on to the next world. I've thinned this color down a little bit more with water, and I'm just applying it. I've talked about this in the past, how I often will do a base coat, and I will thin the color slightly when I apply a first initial layer, but if I want it to be really, really smooth, I will thin it down almost to like a glaze consistency and apply a few glazes of it, and just to get a really smooth coverage. Like you can see on the brush how it's really like the pigment is just very thin in the brush. So I just simply work with the paint in that way. Because I accomplished what I wanted initially with that first initial layer. And so this is just to tidy it up and smooth out the color. You know, I'm looking for those discoloration where the previous paint is showing through, those kind of things, right? But I also want it to be fairly smooth. So, yeah. Oh. Family's home. So I can hear all sorts of noise. So, again, I'm going to apply it onto this cloth in the underbelly. And I'm just applying a very thin layer right on top. And this works for most paints. You can just break it down into a nice thin layer like that and then just apply it. And I just do that just so that I get a nice smooth even coverage on the area. That's it. That's all I do. Nothing fancy. That's not any particular paint brand or anything like that. I don't really subscribe to, the notion of one paint brand is better than the other. They're all pretty comparable. They all have their pluses and minuses, and Nighters 95. This is the first time I hear about it. The breathing part. Yeah. When you shoot, and when I'm painting and I realize I'm holding my breath, because when you're holding your breath, that's initially obviously when you breathe in, right? So oftentimes if I realize that I'm holding my breath, I'll let a little bit of it out to complete that cycle of in and out, but then it's in and then half out and then out, right? That works for shooting, and that works when you're painting as well. You breathe in, just normal breath. It doesn't have to be a huge breath. You just breathe in and then let half your exhale occur. Just breathe a little bit out, just and then complete the brush stroke. That's if you want to be really, really careful. If you're just kind of doing base coating and blah blah blah, and you're just kind of moving about the model, yeah, that kind of thing is not that crucial. But it's when you're doing you're trying to do script, or you're painting eyeballs, or really, really fine detail kind of things. That's when you want to exercise that kind of control, right? It's all about control. So, anywho. All right, so we got that cloth on there. Give it a couple seconds here. I guess I can whip up the dryer, I guess. Might get a little noisy for you folks. Yeah, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go with a dark red. You know what? Maybe flesh tears. Yeah, maybe I'll do a flesh tears, and then I'll use maybe snakebite in the shadows, or maybe Cygor brown in the shadows. Yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do. I think that sounds fun. And it's all about, because I'm not going to use Blood Angels, because Blood Angels is just a little too damn bright. Flesh Tears. Nope, that's pink. Flesh Tears. Nope. Flesh Tears. Nope. Flesh Tears. Yep. There's my Flesh Tears. Is that mixed? Nope. Sediment. It's the Shake and Paint show. Oftentimes when I'm just checking my bottle here, is if I can see light passing through and I can see the pigment, then I know I've mixed it well enough. Oftentimes too, I'll shake it upside down, just, you know, so I can see. Actually, can I see it on the camera here? No, you don't really see it on the camera. There's the light passing through, and I can see that I can see through the bottom of the jar. That's all I'm looking for. That's how you know you've gotten the pigment. Because some colors, like Apothecary White, oh yeah, the pigment just sits right at the bottom. You gotta make sure you shake that up really good, and it takes a while just to make sure it's all shook up, you know. Should we thin it down? No, I want to apply this in a fairly heavy fashion, so I'm going to apply it pretty generously on the surface. So I'm just going to grab my bottle, grab a let's stay with our brush here. All right. We'll start on the front. Yeah, we're just going to grab a somewhat generous amount on our brush. What lenses am I here? Here we go. And begin applying it. It is pretty saturated, but I actually kind of like it. The beauty part of contrast, I hit an area. Oh well. The beauty part of contrast is that it gives you all of that. You've seen it, just one brush stroke, and it gives us our highs and lows and all that stuff. And I missed a little spot right there. Yeah, I kind of like the little spot of red in there. See, I'm a big fan of like classic kind of color schemes, and this is kind of in the vibe of a classic color scheme. Again, let's grab a little more generous amount onto the bristles. You can see there. You can see how the bristles are fairly swollen, because when I apply it, it's going to be pretty heavy. Just got to be mindful of pooling, but I'm going to be able to move probably this entire amount across this whole surface. And in fact, I might even have to draw some out. So let's move somewhat quickly here. Yeah, you can see there's a lot there. So I'll just go right over across the top here. Just hitting the surface. Now, I'm not applying a lot of pressure to this brush as I move it. See if we can get inside these little areas in here. Get in the underside as well. Little shadowy points. Okay. See if we connect this up here. No, a little too much, but it's all right. Oof. I'm losing lots of frames. Probably lagging pretty darn good right now. I think it's because my son's on his Xbox right now. He's playing frickin' Call of Duty. Like I said, see how it gives me a nice deep dark red? So we'll let that dry, then we'll come back. But yeah, I like that kind of vibrant red, especially amongst the rest of this color scheme. Which is kind of why I want to darken up some of the copper areas, put a little more contrast in there. Now that I did the cloth red, I don't like it's satisfying that itch, that the Nurgle symbol on that's hanging below his crotch there. I don't feel like that needs to be red anymore. What should it be? Greens? Paint it metal? Gold? Yeah, see with the axe and with the metal and everything like that, I want to use oranges, right? Oranges and browns, and go for that metal. Maybe that's what I should do. The symbol, orangey browns. Maybe make it look like a rusty metal. The cloth, you can see, pretty straightforward. I'm not even sure right now if I even want to hit that with any kind of shadows. I mean, I can really push the contrast on it, but I'm thinking I'm just going to leave it as such, and I might just highlight it up a little bit. Because I'm kind of happy with where that's at. Hard to say. Nighters. What about a really dark green for the Nurgle? Dark green on those little symbols? Yeah, dark green. Could work. Could work. Alright, let's grab a little hair dryer. And just help that ending. Yeah, that looks good now. Yeah, I like that. I'm pretty happy with how strong the red is in comparison to it all. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with where that's at. I'm still not happy with the axe though. The axe is still messing with me. And I don't think doing it in a green kind of oxidization works well. I'm not 100% sure what I was thinking at that point. Because I kind of did it for his helmet, right? And his helmet, it looks kind of cool. It gives you this green metal. Metallic green. Maybe that's what I was thinking? I was going for a metallic green, maybe? I don't know. Either way, I don't think it really works anymore. But we're going to continue on with that red. Okay, so it was Flesh Tear is red. And we want to start introducing some highlights, because I don't think it needs any shadow. I was thinking initially of using like snakebite leather or Cygor brown or something to, to shadow it, but I'm happy with where the shadows are, I think. So we need to highlight it. We probably could come in with some maybe, I don't know. Okay, yeah, that's what we'll do. I got it. We're going to come in with some, what is this? Wazdaka Red and some Bugman Glow. right? Bug and glow. Perfect. Yeah, that's what we're doing. We're going for brownie red, right? So the red right now is very, very saturated. It's quite rich. So we're going to knock a bit of that out by highlighting up with some Wazdaka red, right? Which is this off red. This is like there's two reds that Citadel offers, where a very saturated red and a very kind of desaturated red. The you get corn red. Is it corn red? Yeah, it's corn red and Mephiston red. They're similar kind of darknesses of red, but Mephiston red is very saturated red and corn red is not. And then you get Evil Sun Scarlet, which is very saturated, kind of a mid-tone red. And then you get Wazdaka red, which is not so saturated. And so that's what I'm going to use. I'm going to use this as the highlight for that. Nighters 95. What is your favorite model? My favorite model? I don't know if I have a favorite model. In my collection, my favorite model would probably be either my Vampire Hunter or my Phantom Titan. I'm a big 40k nerd. And yeah, but I have the old Armor Cast Phantom Titan. If you're not familiar with what that model looks like, just type in Armor Cast Phantom Titan, and that's the model I'm talking about. All right, let's lay some Wazdaka. Just fun to say, Wazdaka. And in fact, yeah, we'll probably use it as is. I'm just gonna thin it down just a bit with water. I was thinking about using medium, and I was thinking about glazing it. That's great. Let's use some medium. Let's go with my first instinct. Let's go with our instincts here. I'm gonna add 2 drops of Lamian medium. I always keep my Lamian medium in a dropper bottle. Grabez-vous a brush that I'm gonna highlight with, which is the brush with the brown handle, and we're gonna mix. Yeah, we're gonna take it down to almost a glaze consistency. It's pretty thin. 2 parts medium to 1 red. Yeah, it's pretty thin. It's still very rich, but it is thinner. And let's start some highlights. What lens am I in here? Here we go. So I'm going to highlight downwards. So basically I'm just going to go like this. Kind of follow with a bit of that bottom edge. Like so. Let's get this broad face as well. I'm trying to keep my highlights very, very minimal because I want to keep that gradient of color, and there's a really nice effect going on here. So as you can see, I'm laying that highlight down. It's just a very minimal highlights, not very much. And I've thinned the color down so it's not, quite as heavy. If I really want to build it up really kind of brighter, then I can put a second layer of it down and again build it to like the lower half of where I've previously gone. As you'll see as I work my way through. Hand slip there, almost knocked other areas of the model. That's another danger, is when you're painting. And you gotta make sure you're comfortable. Make sure you're in a comfortable position. Because just like I almost showed you guys, you can easily just kind of lose your spot and just hitting other areas. And like right now, only one of my elbows is touching the table. My other elbow's up. Normally, I would highly, highly recommend that you have both your elbows down while you do precise type of work. But the way it is right now, it's not quite like that. Trying to be mindful of where, the contrast paint fell into recesses and became dark, and I want to preserve those. So I have those nice dark tones under there. So I'm trying to preserve the darkness. We're only looking to create little highlights. So we want to go into high points, right? There we go. So that highlight is not, well, you can probably see there's a highlight there. It's okay. Once we get into the next colors, you'll see it. So I'm going to do the front now. Now the front, I can probably get away. Well, it's probably not a whole lot of work there, but we'll friggin' do it anyway. We'll do it anyway. We'll do it live. What lens am I at here? There we go. I've got these multiple lenses going on. I can't tell which frickin' way I'm looking. And you'll notice sometimes when I have, like, because I use these little handles here, and they have a slight little angle. It's kind of like pool. I'll rest the brush right on the edge here, and I'll use that to steady my hand as I draw in further. Just like you're watching there. Makes life a little bit easier. I don't know if anybody does that, because I know there's a few people out there who have purchased these off me. And yeah, I don't know if you do that with your painting handles. Anybody who's curious, these are called the steady hand grip. And all it is just, a circular device. I mean, there are many alternatives to a product like this, but this is one that's created by me. Anyway. Yes, I know I need to create more so that I can sell more. There we go. Just a little bit of highlight there. All right. Now I have that red on my palette, and I'm going to take some Boogman Glow, and I'm going to add it to it. Lazy Monkey. Papa Nurgle sends his love all around the globe. He does. Nighters, I don't know if I should be happy by that or not lazy. Nurgle is showing his love, but his love is icky. It's icky love. Nighters, when will that handle come back to the shop? Yeah. I always say soon, and it's been probably, 4 months, 5 months? So, but I'll say soon. It's a fairly simple device. It's not even a device. I mean, but its shape, its look, everything, its dimensions, and this works well for any size model, all the way up to like the big 40 mil size, like the dreadnought size bases. So, yeah. Anyway, okay, so I'm gonna take some Bugman Glow, and I'm going to add it to what's left of the Wazdaka red. Take a nice little dollop. That's often when I say a dollop of paint, that's what I'm talking about. Right there is a dollop of paint. Mix it in. And you know what? That's the very color I'm looking for right there. It's pretty much a 50-50 mixture of the two colors. It's not all the way Bugman Glow. And it's not Wazdaka. It's a lot lighter. It is not vibrant, but we already knew that. It has a little bit of the medium still in it. That's okay, because these are very, very fine highlights we're going to do. And so we don't really need them to be, too thin. But we're just going to go and we're going to concentrate our highlights along the bottom edges of stuff. So kind of like that. I don't even know if I'm in frame. Yeah, I'm in frame. Yeah, we're okay. this is pretty much like an edging I'm doing. But I'm not pushing the color quite as far as what we previously had done. Some of these edges on the cloth, I use the side of the brush. For example, right here, we'll use the side. Come on. The side there. Let's do the high points here. Just very, very minimal. Very, very minimal highlight we're doing. Periodically, got to check my bristles here for little dingleberries, little Klingons hanging on to the end of the bristles. I know many times I recommend not putting your brush in your mouth, but sometimes you just to gently pull those little will nuts off, you got to put it in your mouth. There. That's all right for that for the moment. Let's go over to the front. These shouldn't take too much effort because there's not a whole lot there. And again, I'm steadying my hand on the steady hand grip. Just coming in like I'm shooting pool. I'm just coming in, hitting some of those low points there. Again, it's not a lot of paint we're laying down. Just like that. That's it. Now, that's it for that. So now we're going to come in with some pure Bugman Glow. Lazy Monkey, do you have supplies to make more with your quarantine zone? No. Lazy Monkey, a dollop, like a smidge or glob or a helping is a very precise form of measurement. It is. It's absolutely precise. You can go by atomic measurements by it. I like seeing long bristled, fine tip brush. Too many of the bargain, really fine detail. Trust us, brushes don't have enough bristle to hold any paint, and they dry too quick with those like 3mm long bristles. Yeah, I have like Winsor Newton miniature series 0, 00, and 000. I hardly ever use them. And they're a short bristle. Now they also have their miniature series. They also have longer bristles, but yeah. All right, we're gonna go with some pure Bugman Glow. Bugman. Slap a little bit onto our palette. We don't really need to thin it down too much. Just the dampness of the brush, I think. Not even grabbing that much paint really on my palette. And start on the back side again. Yeah. Yeah, that's fine. I was just considering whether or not I did want to thin it, but now with this color, I'm only going to push it on just some of these more extreme ends of the cloth. here. Maybe a little bit right here. A little bit right here. And you can see I'm only going about halfway down the detail. It's really, really very, very minimal here on this one here. I'm just going to go just at the very bottom of that curvature. Just like so. And then I think what I'll do is closer to the middle of his bum area, I'm going to put just a little bit of highlight up on those top folds. Kind of closest to his belly back fold thing, whatever the frick that is. His back fat. Baby's got back fat. So anyway, yeah, we're just going to concentrate just a little bit of highlighting right just in the center here. So we're just going to go like so. A little bit right here. Yeah. It's a little bit much there, but screw it. I'm okay. And that is it. That's all the highlight I'll do there. On the front part, it'll be just a couple of those really long points that come down. That's all we'll do there. Again, very, very minimal. Which lens am I looking through here again? Just throw a little bit right there. Yeah. You can see just very, very minimal. Very, very minimal. All right. I am mostly happy with where that cloth is at. Yeah, I'm mostly happy with that. Again, the copper, though, when I bring it back to the copper, I do want to add some contrast there. Like even the pock marks in the shoulder pad, I almost want to hit those some more too or something. I don't know. The axe definitely needs something. I think the axe needs to go with a rusty blade. I think that's what we got to do for the axe. Oh, excuse me. So we'll move on to the axe. We'll move on to the axe. Time we at here? I don't even know what time we're at. Oh, geez, hour and a half already? Holy cramoly. Lazy Monkey, I've got the standard Winsor Newton brushes for that reason, yeah. Dry tip isn't only an airbrush problem. Yeah, pretty much. Niters, yellow-green on the axe? Yellow-green on the axe. Yellow-green on the axe. Kind of like the similar color like I have on the horns on the shoulder? Is that kind of green you're talking about? That is possible. You know, like it's kind of like, okay, you bring it, yeah, sickly green, yeah. Well, because you kind of raise an interesting point, right? Because, I mean, like, the metal doesn't really have to be rusty. If we don't want it to be, we can make it whatever crazy crap we want because this is fantasy and this is, this is make-believe land, right? So we can use whatever colors we like. We can even make those pock marks look like they're molten metal, right? If we wanted to. We could do whatever we want. So, it is kind of interesting. Like, what if we did do greens inside the pock marks and did the blade in metallic greens? Would the greens work? Or maybe just go more neutral, just a dark gray, or maybe even a green gray, an off gray, not quite like Inky by Darkness, more like Skaven Blight Dinge, because I think Skaven Blight Dinge actually has kind of a greeny brown quality to it. It's a dark gray, but it has like warmer qualities to it, because it is, you know, a somewhat warm feeling model. And I think if I went with the oranges, it might pull away from that axe handle, right? If I went with oranges, whereas if I go with greens, you know what? Okay, Nighters, you win. We're gonna go greens. Lazy monkey, or make the pockmarks oozing sores since it's Nurglish. Yeah, I think that's the kind of vibe that that Niter is talking about, right? Is kind of going for greens in the metal, like the metal is corroded with this, you know, magical Nurgleness, right? Lazy monkey, grayish metal for the axe with a sort of green metallic glowing edge, sort of typical magic edge imagery. Yeah, something like that, right? So first, I think what I want to do... Oh, how do we want to go about this? Okay, let's go with moot green first. And then we will... No, wait. That's not going to work. No, we'll do warp lock. Or no, what is it? What the frick is the green? Is Warpstone Glow. Let's do Warpstone Glow, just in the pockmarks. Then we'll thin down Moot Green. Use it like a shade wash, so it can kind of creep into the recesses. And then we'll kind of do like a broad overbrushing over the axe, so the pockmarks stay nice and green inside. And then we can play around on that flat surface. And maybe we'll do... Yeah, let's live dangerously. Let's do a little bit of kind of a wet-on-wet blend on the main facets of the axe. Does that sound like a plan? That sounds like a plan, doesn't it? That sounds like almost like I know what I'm doing. It almost sounds like I know what I'm doing. You know what? Maybe we'll stay with opaque colors instead of going with metallics. Although I've already used metallics for the copper. Well, I can always use greens and metallics together, because I can do a wet-on-wet with the metallics and an opaque color. I can do that too. Maybe that's what we will do. We're going to give this a shot anyway. I don't know if I've ever really done anything like this, or if I've shown anything like this before, but we're going to find out. So I'm slapping a little bit of the, what is it? Warpstone Glow. I'm going to slap a little bit of Warpstone Glow. We're going to apply this in a somewhat generous manner into all the little pockmarks on the blade. So, let's go. What lens am I looking at here? Here we go. So, yeah. So I'm just going to apply these pretty generously. Just wipe that off because I just don't want too much paint buildup. And if you're fast, you can just use your finger like that just to wipe the excess away. Just like that, see? And, yeah. Use your finger really fast. Just wipe it away. Because we're only interested in getting the color into the recesses. Right? We want to build this up pretty strong. Now do be mindful, if you're using your finger to wipe away the color, that you have a bunch of the color on your finger. Because then you don't want to touch any other areas of the model, right? Yeah, let's do the inside here as well. Do inside there. See? Really, really fast. We're just filling those areas in. Just getting that little bit of color on there, on those areas. That's all we're looking for. Right? See, really fast. We've already filled that in. Giving us the greeny tone in there. It's kind of fun. Let's just quickly do it on the underside, because the underside, I haven't even touched it yet. So, which lens am I looking at here? Here we go. Gotta be careful. Just the way I'm wiping, I'm kind of like knocking into my model, like other parts of the model. There we go. I'm not too concerned if it's a little too messy. I'm not really concerned about that. All right. So we got the green in the pox, right? Or the green in the pox. The little pock marks. So let's... Actually, yeah, I'm kind of digging it so far, right? With the green in there. Good call, Nighters. Is it Nighters? Nighters. Good call. Okay, we're going to take some moot green. We're going to just take a little bit. We're going to break it into a shade wash. We're going to apply this into the pock marks and let it. And basically what we want is for it to accrue within the little divots. It's going to be fairly subtle. It's not going to be huge. But it's going to give us brighter tones deep inside, right? It's not on the edges of stuff. It's in the interiors of stuff. Lazy monkey. For your reward, Nighters, you get to watch your idea take form. Yep, there we go. So we're going to take some moot green. I'm going to add a drop or two of medium, and then I'm going to add a drop or two of Liquitex Fluid. We're going to make a shade wash out of this. So, just not a very big drop. All right, just a little drop. Find a spot on my palette here. I probably did not have to rinse off my brush. Force a habit. And we're going to add about 3-4 drops of medium. It's probably quite a bit, probably more than necessary. I always have my Liquitex Fluid in a dropper bottle just because it makes it easier to, add little drops of it. So I'm going to go with a drop in it. So all you need is just one drop. I bought this bottle like 10 years ago, and it actually leaked on me, but I'm down to about a quarter of it left. But it leaked on me. You can see like the labels all, deteriorated and stuff. But anyway, yeah, I've had that for ages. Barely, I use this stuff all the time to make shade washes out of colors. And yeah, that bottle, that was like $10 10 years ago. So I basically use less than $1 all the time. Yeah, you can see here, it's a shade wash now. It's really, really thin, and it should creep into the recesses as we like shade washes to do. So we're just going to take a little bit here, and just to show you guys, what lens am I? Here we go. So really what I'm more concerned with is some of these multi-dimensional kind of pock marks where they kind of come in, go further in, stuff like that. That's where I'm really concerned, right? Kind of like that. That's a little bit much, but it's kind of fun. And in fact, I almost want to leave it because I want to see how it dries, because it looks really saturated now, but it might not dry that way. In fact, if I give it a wipe, yeah, see I pull some of it out. That's fun. Yeah, that's pockmarky, isn't it? That's a pockmark. Or plague, whatever the hell you want to call it. So, let's do that. Hopefully this appeases Nurgle. Please, oh great Father Nurgle. There we go. Yeah, that's fun, isn't it? Real fast. See how painless that was? It's a little bit much there. I'm going to probably pull some of that out. So basically just clean the brush off, pull the excess moisture out, and like a syringe you should be able to just draw the excess out. Actually, does that go all the way through? Okay, I just blew on it and it knocked it all the way through. So there you go. And so that's what I'm looking for right there. Yeah, you know what? That's kind of fun. I like that. Now, as we build up more color on the face of the blade, because this is actually kind of thing where we probably could have saved this to the end of the blade when we finished, painting the blade itself, like the main facets of the blade. We could have did this effect, but as I was impatient and not really, like we're doing this on the fly, right? But I'm liking that green better. on the metal. And in fact, maybe we'll keep the metal. And yeah. You know, I could probably... no, contrast will be too thin. I was thinking of using like a contrast color, like one of the greens, to tint the metal. But, no. Oh. Okay, let's have fun. Let's have some more fun. Let's have fun. Let's take... lead belcher. Okay, we're going to reestablish the metal, but we're going to do it a little bit differently. I'm going to take lead belcher, and I'm going to take a little bit of Caliban green. This is probably going to be like 2 metal to 1, like half a dollop of Caliban green. So I'm going to take a little bit of Caliban green, take a little bit of lead belcher. We're going to make a mixture of these two. Okay? Slap a little bit. So I'm going to use I'm probably going to use, well, I'm not going to use that much. So I'm going to take a large helping of lead belcher. Take a small helping of Caliban green. Yeah, like that's a small helping right there. You can see. Mix that in. That's not bad. Actually, no, I can live with that. That's not bad. So we've added a bit of opacity, a bit of darkness. I went with the lead belcher because it's already a dark metal. You should see on the brush. See how it has like a slight green to it. That's what we're looking for. All right. I want to try to act fast here because what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some sponge. And I'm going to stipple it onto the surface of the axe. Just to give me an initial, I'm going to try to find a flat portion here. Because I want to keep some of the flatness of the sponge so that it gives me even coverage. And so basically what I'm doing is that I'm using this sponge because I don't want the hairs of the bristles to go in to where we established the pock marks. I want the sponge to sit just on top because the pock marks come down, and so it should just sit on the surface, right? In theory, communism works. In theory. So, yeah. So I grab a little sponge. I have it on my tweezer. You can see some of the metallics there. And, yeah. Sorry, I had to find my focus here on my lenses. And let's start patting the surface. Giving us slightly deeper tones. Now, see, I got a little too much on the sponge, but it's okay. I'm able to move it around a little bit. Yeah, I can even wipe it actually. Now, as we build this up, it should give us some really interesting texture. I might end up hitting the guy himself. I probably should have masked it off. But there, you can kind of see how the blade's looking now. Right? Versus what it was. Yeah, so let's continue on. So this is just giving us a bit of dimension, bit of, variation. Let's do the underside of the blade. So this should not, I don't even know if that previous paint is dry yet. It's in such a rush to do this. Gotta be careful here not to hit other areas. But yeah, you know what? That's not bad. Yeah, see, I got a little bit close to the hand by the axe. So for something like that, you know what? I probably can chuck this sponge. That's good. But an area like that, I can probably just grab some of this color and just hit the blade and just imitate the stippling action that we created there. Right? So like, for example, I can just go like this and just stipple it around and kill that edge. Not make it look so pristine. Right? And these big, broader, flatter areas, We can actually lay some more color down where we want this metallic to gather. Yeah, see, like on that edge there. That edge. It's a little too bright. This edge. Yeah. Oh, you know what? The inside. There's an inside curvature inside the blade here. It's got to get some paint. Just like so. You know what? We'll just hit that with color. Yeah. We'll hit that with color too. Yeah. Yeah, there we go. Not too shabby. Kind of fun? No? Are we having fun yet? I don't know. Are we having fun yet, people? For God's sakes, people, are we having fun? All right. Freaking lens on my hand. Oh, there we go. Yeah, I think I did hit. Yeah, I hit the hand. That's okay. I'm going to come back and fix those up anyway later on. Just doing like a rough stippling with the brush. Just touching the surface here and there. Just working around. Yeah. Just like that. Yeah, that's fun. See, the blade feels fairly uniform now with that little opaque colors inside, giving us that kind of glow almost, right? So now we're gonna come in with, we'll come in with a bit of iron breaker, and we're gonna do the exact same thing. We're gonna stipple the little bit of highlighting on, but we're gonna keep it just to the cutting edge of the blade, and just a little bit where the facet of that, where the cutting edge meets back to the main body of the blade, right? Just along that edge there. We're going to stipple the silver on. Where is my iron breaker? There it is. Yeah. Lazy monkey. This is my happy face. Grim, are we not entertained? Well, I am. Lazy monkey, out of curiosity, in your experience, how does mixing metallic with ink work as opposed to mixing a metallic with a non-metallic paint? I almost think the ink would work better for tinting, but I don't have any inks. An ink and a metallic will work just fine because there's also metallic inks, right? So metallics can be broken down to a very thin body. And when we're talking about tinting, we're technically actually talking about blackening of a color, or no, the whitening of the color. Yeah, whitening of the color. You're adding white to a color. When you say tint, you're actually talking about the white values of a color. When you're talking about taking ink and changing the color of that metallic, say if we're using a silver, like we're doing here, we're adding a green, we're actually changing the hue, right? Or interchangeably value. We're changing the value of the color, or changing the value of, the metallic. But when we say tinting, we're actually talking about adding white to the color. If we're going to get technical about our painting. Like I was saying in the beginning of the show, like we're talking about actual painting here. We're artists. So I'm taking some iron breaker. I'm going to use another sponge. I'm just going to take another little chunk of sponge off. And grab just a little bit of this metallic. Slap it onto my palette. Now I'm using iron breaker because it's brighter than the lead belcher, but not as bright as, well, as a color we can use to highlight with, right? So I'm grabbing a little bit of the sponge, putting it into my tweezers, just like so, right? And then we're going to stipple this on again. But this time I want to make sure that I don't have too much paint on my sponge. So I'm just going to play with it on my palette here until I'm pretty satisfied that I don't have a lot. And if you can feel, like if you're using the sponge and if you can feel the model making contact, or like I'm using tweezers here, and if I feel the tweezers making contact, then I'm stippling a little too hard. All right, where am I here? Okay. Yeah. That's all right there. So you really shouldn't feel a lot of pressure when you're doing this. See how we got a nice, little bit brighter edge going on there? Don't worry, we're going to make that cutting edge just a little bit sharper. We're just looking to just slowly kind of build out a bit of color here. Yeah, just a little bit like that. Yeah. A little bit up here. Of course, like I said, if we hit any areas that we want to brighten up a little bit more, we can always come in with a brush and just imitate that stippling. This is working out just well for me. It's giving us that slight texturing. We've got we're creating all sorts of texture on this blade. Like it's just, it's not a pristine blade. It's gunked up. It's messed up. It's Nurgle. Now, if we had done this first, we really wouldn't have to worry about being terribly careful about the little green that we did in the pock marks. Because, like I said earlier, we probably could have done that last as we did the blade. Oh, it's a little too much there. Let's see here. Can I whip it off? Yes, I can. There we go. Just a little bit. There. Perfect. Grab a little bit more paint. And let's stipple the underside here. If I fall out of frame, you'll have to forgive me. I can't quite see what I'm doing here. Oh no, we're okay. Yeah, boy. Yeah, there we go. As you can see there. Again, see, we don't want a really smooth looking thing. We're looking for that textured metal, right? Like the metal's corrosive and destroyed and it's coming apart. All right. That's it for Iron Breaker. I'm going to just do just a little bit of Stormhost Silver or Runefang Steel, whichever I can find first. Runefang Steel. Survey says... Lazy Monkey. I always get the terminology mixed up. Yeah, same here. But if you're trying to convey your ideas to others, it's better that we all use the same vernacular when trying to convey. I don't like when people ask for advice and they're mixing up terminologies, or when you're listening to somebody, because I have heard other artists, use terminologies incorrectly, and it just confuses people when people are using different terminologies, using a term to mean other things, and it confuses people, and it's it doesn't have to be that way. It just doesn't have to be that way. Lazy Monkey, am mostly self-taught in that context, so the vocabulary isn't all there. Yeah, well, I mean, but as you develop and you get used to it, it's really when you want clarity is when you are trying to convey these ideas to other people, right? That's when you want to be precise in the language you use, because that way you're not confusing anybody. All right, Runefang Steel. Oh, I have to mix that more. Jeez Louise. Actually, you know what? Runefang Steel? No, let's bust out another color. Let's just confuse everybody. I'm going to use a different metallic. I'm going to use something that's really, really fun. Yeah. I like this color. This is a lot of fun. I'm going to use some white alchemy from Scale 75. This is almost like a white metal. Well, it's not almost. It is. But I got to mix it up because it's been sitting for a bit. Oftentimes, people crap on, between paint pot or dropper bottles. These paint pots from Citadel, the paint is fairly thick body because, it's got to sit on shelves for a long time. Dropper style, they're thinner body paints because they got to fit through that tiny little ass nozzle. And oftentimes the pigment will just gather really badly on the bottom of the bottle. And I'm pretty sure these paints have agitators. I don't hear the agitator going yet. So I got to really mix this up. Lazy Monkey, I don't come from a art background. No. Well, I do. I went to school for art. And I took all sorts of stuff. From computers to photography to pottery to textiles to drawing, painting. All sorts of stuff. Yeah, this is going to take a while for me to mix this. Do 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 do. Holy shit! It's 2 o'clock. Or it's 2 o'clock. Sorry, something was moving there. Okay, we're gonna finish this highlight and then I'm gonna wrap up this show because I'm getting hungry. I'm hungry. And I don't eat on while I'm doing the show because that's just rude. I don't think you guys want to hear me eat anyway. All right. So I want to take some of this white alchemy. Oh, yeah, perfect. See, here's the other fucking issue. The goddamn cap came off. Why? Because the paint gathered inside the goddamn bottle. See, people go on about dropper bottles. There are all sorts of issues with dropper bottles. And that cap is not coming out. Fuck. Where's my little pliers? Where's my pliers? Son of a bitch. Okay, I'll have these. No, I'm going to scrap my pliers. Hold on. Right tool for the right job. There we go. Always use the right tool for the right job. So, got these little mini pliers here. Let's grab this cap. Because, yeah, see, it's right in there. Let's go here. Oh, my lord. That is stuck right in there. Oh, I think I'm breaking this. Ugh. This is pissing me off. I can hear it coming loose. I was going to use the scale 75 metallic because it's such a... There it is. Son of a bitch. Look at all that freaking paint. So, like I said, dropper bottles are not perfect. They have their... Oh, man. I've got this paint all over my freaking self. Oh, I got it on my chair, I think. Okay. Throw a little bit onto my palette. The other one too is, oh my god, look at the threads. Yeah, it's got to definitely get cleaned out somehow. Anyway, enough bitching. Nighters. Damn, it'll be so fun to go through you head. Lazy Monkey. Wow, I've never heard a dropper tip get stuck in the cap like that. That'd be annoying. Yeah, it's annoying. It happens. Vallejo, it happens. Scale 75. That's happened to me before. What's another one? Army Painter. Army Painter, another one. Alright. I got a little bit of this white alchemy on my palette. This one's really, really fun. I like this color. I like these scale 75 colors, despite them being dropper bottles. They're just so smooth and the metallics are just so rich. And so, we're just going to do just a slight little edge here. Just like at little points here. Corner. That's all we're looking for is just that bright and that edge right up. That is it. Now this is a metallic paint. It might not look like it, but it is a metallic paint and it is adding to that shine. You can see that edge is just glowing now. So anyway, and yeah, Let's just do this outer edge. Yeah, and then we'll do the underside as well. If need be. I don't know if it really needs it. Screw it. May as well. We're already here, right? In for a penny, in for a pound, as they say. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, that looks better. I don't know who's going to see that, but it looks better. That edge. Let's do this back edge here. There. And like that. And that edge. This back edge right there. There we go. Yeah, boy. Yeah, that's fun. I like it. I'm happy with that. That's a good call. Nighters, good call. And with that, I think we are done for now. Because that is the show. That's 2 hours. I only do this show for 2 hours. And, yeah, but... So hopefully we've appeased the great father Nurgle. If we haven't, well then we're screwed, right? So, but anyway, take that off. Oof, just sweaty. Oof. Anyway, so I want to thank you guys for tuning in today. Damn, I gotta wipe that down. Should always wipe your tools down too. And yeah, I want to thank you guys for tuning in today. Hopefully, you are making the most of this situation that we're finding ourselves in. Hopefully, you're not just sitting around belly aching about, well, I can't do this and I can't do that. Hopefully, you're taking advantage of the situation and you're doing this or that and, getting a project done or, what have you. Oh, I missed my garbage can. Man, my hair's a mess now. My hair. Any other comments here? Lazy Monkey. Nurgle is laughing. I don't know if that means he's appeased or not, though. Nurgle's always laughing. It's always. But, hopefully, he's happy with where this guy got today. That's a little too bright here. Let's go back. We'll go back here. One more time, just so everybody who was tuned in today can have a last look. We did the handle, we did the axe blade itself, and we did the cloth along his ass. That was 2 hours of work. Holy shit, people! That was 2 hours of work. Well, I was also gum flapping a lot too, right? So, but good call, Nighters, on using the green and metallic, and yeah, I like that a lot more. Because I was going to go rusty, just traditional kind of rustiness, and I think that looks a lot better. It's a lot more fun. Yeah, definitely. And it keeps the green, brown feels and, keeps it all. So, good call, Nighter. Good call. Good call, buddy. Lazy Monkey. But you do know how Nurgle shows his appreciation, Chris. Maybe you just want to get his attention one way or the other. Yeah, maybe you don't want to. Yeah, because we'll get the Nurgle's rot. Because that's what all Nurgle followers want. They want the rot. I don't want the rot. I don't. So a huge thank you to everybody. Stay tuned next week, next Friday. I do these Getting Project Done videos on Fridays. Again, on Twitch, though, I don't do a whole lot on Twitch, but I am trying to do more here and there. And so, if you have ideas on what I could be doing on Twitch, or maybe just doing more of these painting, I don't know. But either way, I'll talk to you guys later. I'm going to go get something to eat, relax, enjoy the rest of this overcast day. It's kind of stormy here, actually. But it's warm, too. It's really warm. Sweating to the oldies warm. Some of you might not remember what that is, but Anyway. Take care of those brushes. They'll take care of you, and I will see you guys in the next video. What's today? Friday? Today's Friday, the 20th of March. And I had just posted a battle report. So if you love yourself Necromunda, I just did a battle report, Necromunda. Posted today. And tomorrow's Saturday, so I do Way the Brush. So tune in for Way the Brush tomorrow. All right, enough of the plugs. I'm getting the hell out of here. The plugs. The plugs. Dun dun dun. Dun dun dun. Dun dun dun. Yeah, I don't have theme music, so that's just me trying to do some theme music. Dun dun dun. Dun dun. Dun dun dun. Dun dun dun. Dun 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 dun.